Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we're talking about Python. This is a programming language that somehow went from being this little side project to, well, the undisputed king of data. We're going to find out exactly how that happened.
I mean, think about it. From building websites to diving deep into machine learning, it feels like Python is the answer for everything these days. So why? What's the secret sauce here? What's behind this incredible popularity? Okay, let's dive in and figure it out.
So to really get a grip on why it took off, we first need to just take a look at the landscape and see how massive Python has actually become.
Okay, so take a look at this. Think about the websites you visit every single day. The backbone, the stuff that makes them work. Well, if you look at the most popular tools for building that backbone, 2 of the top 4, Django and Flask, are built entirely with Python. That is a huge slice of the pie in just web development.
And it's not just about the web, not by a long shot. If you zoom out and look at the whole tech world, Python's usage has just, well, it's exploded. It's leaving a lot of really established languages like Java and C++ kinda in the dust. And you see this especially in anything related to data. Now, a rise like this, it doesn't just happen randomly. This was absolutely by design.
So, if it was by design, what was the secret? What's the big idea? Well, the answer is actually baked right into the language's DNA. It's its core philosophy, a real commitment to one thing, simplicity.
And this right here says it all. Look at this comparison. To do the simplest thing you can do in programming, just printing "Hello World" to the screen, look at the Java code. It's a whole production, right? You've got classes, methods, it's a ceremony. And then there's Python. It just does it. One line. Print "Hello World." And this isn't just about being lazy or typing less. This gets to the very heart of why people love it.
This idea of simplicity is so important, it's actually written down in a set of guiding principles called the Zen of Python. And here's a fun fact, a little Easter egg for you. You can actually see these principles for yourself just by typing "import this" into a Python session. It's all about ideas like this one. Beautiful is better than ugly. Simple is better than complex. It all boils down to this. You're going to spend more time reading code than writing it, so making it easy to read is what matters most.
All right, so this whole philosophy, this Zen of simplicity, it carries all the way down to the fundamental tools you use in the language. The basic building blocks are super intuitive, easy to grasp, but when you start putting them together, that's when things get really powerful.
Let's start with variables. In a lot of other languages, you can think of a variable like a box. You declare it to hold a certain type of thing, and that's it. But in Python, it's different. It's more like a sticky note. It's just a label you can slap onto any object you want. It's not a rigid bucket. It's a pointer. So much more flexible.
Then you've got lists. You just use square brackets. And they're exactly what you'd expect, a simple, ordered list of things. And crucially, you can change them whenever you need to. And what if you need to look things up really fast? Well, for that, you've got dictionaries. And the name is perfect. Just like a real-world dictionary, you don't look things up by page number. You look up a unique key, like a word, and it instantly gives you the value, the definition. It is an incredibly smart way to store and retrieve connected pieces of information. Okay, so this is where all those simple pieces start to feel like magic. Look at this line of code. It's called a list comprehension, and it's famous in the Python world. In just this one single, really readable line, what are we doing? We're creating a list of numbers from 0 to 9. But, and here's the cool part, we're only keeping the ones that are odd. That's Python's elegance right there. It's short, it's clear, and it's incredibly powerful. All right, so you might be thinking, okay, the basics are simple, I get it, but where does the heavy-duty power come from? You know, for things like complex data science or artificial intelligence? Well, the answer isn't in the core language alone. It's in this amazing ecosystem of specialized toolkits that we call libraries.
You'll often hear people say, Python comes with batteries included. That just means it has a ton of useful stuff built right in. But its real superpower comes from the massive community that builds and shares even more tools. For data science, there's this holy trinity, or maybe a quartet. You have NumPy for doing intense math on big arrays of numbers. You have Pandas, which is amazing for working with data in tables, kind of like a spreadsheet on steroids. Then Matplotlib for creating all sorts of charts and graphs. And scikit-learn, which is your go-to toolkit for machine learning. Seriously, think of these as super-powered attachments for any data job you need to do.
And this is where it gets really practical. In the real world, this is how it all comes together. A business can use a library like Pandas to just dig into mountains of e-commerce data. They can analyze sales trends, figure out what products are performing well, understand customer behavior, all to make smarter decisions that actually affect their bottom line.
So, this toolbox lets an analyst take on some really complex projects. Let's walk through a typical story. It usually starts with a bunch of messy data that needs to be cleaned up. Step 1. Then, step 2, you start exploring it, maybe making some charts to see if any patterns pop out. And finally, step 3, you can build a model to make predictions. A classic example people use to learn this stuff is the Titanic dataset. You can literally use these tools to build a model that tries to predict who would have survived the sinking based on things like their age, what class ticket they had, and so on. It's pretty amazing.
So what this all leads to is that Python's massive popularity, it's not really just about being a good programming language. It's about giving people the power to ask fascinating questions and then actually find the answers in the data.
And that's why you hear experts say this all the time. Python just hits this perfect sweet spot. It's so easy to learn that a total beginner can get started in an afternoon. But it's also so powerful that it's used for the most complex scientific work at places like NASA and Google. That's a really rare combination.
You know, there's this saying that floats around the Python community, and it just captures the whole vibe perfectly. Life is short, use Python. And what it really means is that your tools shouldn't be the hard part. They shouldn't be a roadblock. They should just get out of your way so you can focus on the interesting stuff, on being creative and actually solving the problem. So when you put it all together, Python isn't just a language. It's really a new way to see things. It's a lens that lets you explore the world through the stories hidden in data. And that really leaves just one final question for you. Now that you've seen the tools, what story is your data going to tell?